Hello, my name is Ralf Pirzl. I have managed several companies across different countries, and I have been involved in politics for years. Today I want to talk about something uncomfortable, something that many people avoid. Why do wars really happen? We're often told that wars are about defense, about security, about protecting nations. But if we look deeper, the reality is often very different. Wars are rarely accidents. They are decisions. And behind those decisions there are politicians. So the real question is not just why wars happen. The real question is this: are wars the result of bad political leadership? Let's break it down. First, we need to understand one thing. War is not chaos. War is organized. It requires planning, resources, coordination. This means that war does not simply start. It is allowed to happen. And that decision always comes from leadership. Now, not all politicians are the same, but history shows a clear pattern. When leadership fails, conflict rises. Bad politicians often create enemies. Instead of reducing tensions, they increase them. They use aggressive language. They turn differences into threats, and they present conflict as inevitable. But conflict is rarely inevitable. It is often escalated, step by step, through decisions, through rhetoric, through strategy. Another key factor is short-term thinking. Many politicians focus on immediate gains, power, popularity, control. War can sometimes serve these goals. It can unite a divided population. It can distract from internal problems. It can shift attention away from failure. And that is dangerous, because war should never be used as a tool. But in many cases, it has been. There's also the issue of accountability. When decisions are made at the top, the consequences are often felt at the bottom. Civilians suffer, soldiers die, economies collapse. But politicians often move on. This creates a gap between decision and consequence. And when leaders do not face real consequences, the risk of bad decisions increases. Now let's talk about ego. Ego plays a bigger role than many people think. Some leaders see compromise as weakness. They prefer confrontation. They want to appear strong, decisive and dominant. But strength is not always about force. Real strength is often about control, about de-escalation, about preventing conflict before it begins. And this is where good leadership matters. Good politicians reduce tension. They build alliances. They create dialogue. They understand that war is failure, not success. Bad politicians do the opposite. They divide. They provoke. They escalate. And eventually, they lead nations into conflict. Another important point is misinformation. Wars are often justified with narratives, stories that simplify reality, stories that create clear enemies and clear heroes. But reality is rarely that simple. When populations are misinformed, it becomes easier to support conflict, and this gives politicians more power, more freedom to act, more room to escalate. So again, we come back to the same idea. Wars are not just events, they are outcomes. Outcomes of decisions, outcomes of leadership. Now, this does not mean that all wars are avoidable. There are situations where conflict becomes unavoidable, but many wars could have been prevented through better decisions, better communication, better leadership. And this is the key point. The quality of leadership matters a lot, because the cost of bad leadership is not just political, it is human. It is measured in lives, in destruction, in long-term instability. So what can we learn from this? We need to demand better leadership. We need to question decisions. We need to look beyond simple narratives. And most importantly, we need to understand that war is not inevitable. It is often the result of choices. And choices can be different. They can be better or worse. The future depends on who makes them. If you want to understand the global politics without filters, subscribe to the channel. And tell me in the comments, do you believe wars are inevitable, or the result of bad political decisions?